Now it's traditional that, well, we still got some people flying. Traditional that on Saturday evening, John and Buzz always provide a full buffet-style meal to be eaten right at the field. And the two things we're going to try to do is obviously get some food. We're starving, and they're doing some little demos with some of the Junkyard Wars planes, and in the back combat planes. They're still flying. But we'd like to get something to eat, and we'd like to prepare for it. As I said, they never crash. We're going to kind of get ready for Don Dixon's memorial service also. One of the few things to come out of the B-25 program, the B-25 Silver.
That I'm reading came in the store, you know, and changing this.
Nobody can come close to that.
Having a butt review. Is that Paul Winter's parachute?
No, turn around.
It is now. What? I don't see. Oh, because I'm doing a butt review for the gentlemen who have to watch this video.
Oh, it's sort of like the VSC has the best buns.
We have the butt review. Right now I think I'm in the finals.
I'm covered, so.
I'm covered. Yeah, no good, no good. Ooh, look at these cookies. See, if you don't come to Brodak's, you don't get to eat the... Oh my God. This is pathetic. This is terribly, terribly fattening. Everybody should avoid...
We took all the calories.
He's got a cookie. He's got a cookie. His sucker's waiting in line. Suckers. And it looks like my funeral procession. Look at this. Yeah, that Windy was a good guy while he was alive.
Don Dixon, who passed away this year, along with several of our other friends, has asked that his ashes be spread over Brodak. There will be 2 passes of the Stearman. As all of you know, we've just within the last year, we've had the passing of our friends of John Davis and George Aldrich, Jim Kostecki, Mike Garman, recently Ellen and Head Southwick, Joe Ortiz, and Walter Umland's father, plus Don Dixon. There'll be 2 passes made this evening. I think the first one will be made left to right, and of which the gentleman who does the Stearman does this on a regular basis when requested, and then the second pass is when the ashes will be spread over the land here. So if you'd like, we'll wait until the first pass.
Good. Well done.
We're all observing a few moments of silence on Don's behalf. Pampa has lost many of our brothers and friends in the last year, and an abnormally high number. Among them, Don. We can hear the engine ready in the background.
I'll work on that too.
That is going to make 1 pass over the field and then 1 pass the other way in releasing Don's ashes. And some flower petals. You can hear the engine now. Mike Brooks' son is in the plane gaming. kind of symbolic, as Don and Damon were very close friends, to say the least. And on the pass back, they'll be releasing Don's ashes on some flower petals.
Heavenly Father, Don Dixon wanted to be here especially for this time. He is here in spirit, and his remains are being sheltered upon us. We thank you for all the compassion and love that he showed in his lifetime. Thank you for the joy and the spirit that he showed with our hobby. We ask you to give him the fullness of your eternal light. We thank you for opening the skies at this time so that we could have this memorial for our friend Don. Bless him with total presence in your presence. Bless his family, bless Maggie, his children, and help us always to have the same compassion and love that he showed during his lifetime. We ask you, Father, to remember all of our friends who died this year, so many who are so close, and to bless each one of us here. Help us always to know that we are dust, and unto dust we shall return, but our spirit lives forever. Bless Don, bless all of our friends, bless each of us today. We make this prayer in the name of Jesus Christ, our Lord. Amen.
Dan Banjock, if you'd like to fly a memorial flight for our fallen friends.
I'd just like to read a little something first. As we all know, our lives have changed since the terror attacks against the United States of America. It has in some way affected all of us. Because we are Americans and many have fought for our freedom, we are able to participate in this wonderful weekend. We should be proud to be Americans. We dedicate the following to those who lost their lives on September 11th and to those who have and will continue to fight for our freedom. To show our gratitude to our country, we present the flight heard around the world.
We're going to start the paint seminar in just about a few minutes.
We're going from here to some of those seminars that John holds at every contest. In conjunction with the flying, they're always interesting. Sometime you learn something. Sometime you can share the knowledge you know with other people, but always a special time. We're going to try to include some of that, if not all of it, on the video. You're looking at some of the pictures of the restoration?
Yeah.
Bob Brookins is doing a complete, you call it an off-chassis restoration?
No, not off-chassis, it's on the frame, but we're going
2.5 years later, here's where we stand. Look at that.
Yeah, he got the hood painted.
Yeah.
Who taught you how to paint? Wendy? I was afraid of that.
This is the vacuum can that was all rotted out. We built a new vacuum can.
That's a coffee can.
Yeah, it's just a coffee can.
These are the parts of the car?
Yeah, that's
the radiator.
What color is it going to be? A custom color?
It's going to be no blue. It'll be back to where it was, right there.
That's the color right there.
That's the color it was original.
Okay. But it'll be like right out of the showroom.
Right.
Just like it.
Okay.
You can shave in it.
Yeah.
Every little part.
Well, what John's going to do is he's going to take your plane and put it on the hood, and if the plane is shinier, you don't get paid.
You don't need. This is another card. Okay, so I'll take these over here.
Anyway, we're getting ready for Bob Brookins' paint seminar, which he does every year.
I want to get close so I can smell the fumes.
I hope we have some fumes.
There's still beer in that cooler?
Yep. Do you? Okay. So, what's the reason you don't buff?
Because I don't know how.
Don't know how.
Wax on, wax off. You ain't Oriental, that's the problem.
That's not true.
Do you know how to sand?
Yes, I know how to sand.
Do you know how to polish and wax a car?
Yeah.
Okay. Basically, you just do the same thing, only you're going to use a compound instead of a polish and a wax to begin with, and you're going to rub it until you get your scratches out, and then you're going to start polishing and going from there. We'll try and show you a little demonstration.
Is that the stuff that you told me at the jar?
Gorhams, yeah.
Yeah,
That's one of the kind of polishes you use. Other polish, that's
There's
a
all
good
kinds
one.
of stuff you can use.
Sure.
All right.
And Bob.
Now you get 1,500 soapy water. A little
You
bit.
can, yes.
Okay.
I don't have any soap in this, but yeah.
Okay.
Soapy water will help cut it a little bit. Plain also at the same time.
How much clear is on that?
I don't know. How much clear do you have on here, John?
6 coats.
6 coats, okay.
No, that's plenty. That's
I'll need
plenty.
a couple soft towels.
Okay. Over the paper towels?
Yeah,
You want
a
regular
towel to polish with.
towel? Okay.
You know you have 6 coats on it, you always worry about somebody else's clear.
Are these windy coats or Bob coats?
I don't know. If they're windy coats, I can sand
You're
for a long
safe.
time.
It's sand with 80 grit.
Now see, people laugh about that, but they don't realize that you could actually do that and then go back and sand it and re-clear it, and it
Well, of course.
never
yeah.
tell the difference.
Yeah. I fooled a lot of people already.
So I always use a sock, so is that okay?
Yeah, that'll work fine.
Better.
From days of old when nights are old.
Yeah.
This is silk on here, isn't it?
Now that's 6 coverall.
Okay.
Hey, John, you put any filler coat on that coverall?
Yeah. That's got 4 coats of primer.
Really?
And then it's got 4 coats of silver. I start
You sand the primer all the way off?
all the way down. Right.
You have to primer something, you want to remove all the primer that you can. Just leave the grain fill. And when you get it to where you think you want it, then you might go back and just brush touch a few places, sand it again.
Is that like using silver?
Pardon?
Is that primer like using silver?
No, we're talking about John Brodak's primer. After you've prepped your wood and you've put on 2 or 3 good coats of clear and sand it lightly and then prime with one or two coats. I like to just use one good heavy coat, and then you sand your primer down. And when you've got it sanded really good, it's all gone except for where it started to fill. And then you need to look to see which ones might need a little more filling on it. You just brush another coat on those spots, go back and sand it, so you're sanding all the weight off. You don't want to leave all that primer on there because it's heavy. It's meant to fill.
I start out, I put 6 coats of clear on it, and I put 2 coats of primer, sanded all down, 2 more coats of primer, sanded down. I put 4 coats of silver, sanded down, and filled in all the notches. I put a coat of white, sanded down. I picked up 2.5 ounces. I weighed in between. I weighed after the clear, after I put the primer on, I sanded and weighed again. If I saw I didn't knock off 3/4 of an ounce, an ounce and a half.
We're going to do a small area here. I've got a small area of this wing sanded. If anybody would like to come up and take a look. This small area of this wing has been sanded. And you can see the difference basically when you're sanding before you're buffing. You want to get all these little shiny spots out of here.
Right. Flame jumps
You want
off
to make it
fast,
smooth.
right.
Yeah. And there's going to be some areas you aren't going to be able to sand.
There is?
Yeah. And
Are they going to show up?
not when you're done polishing and stuff. You know, if they're small like this.
Yeah, okay.
Because you get a piece of paper in here sanded in here, you're going to sand right through it.
You're going to have hit a mountaintop.
You're real careful. I mean, basic sand on here and knock this off, and just be very careful with stuff. I'll polish that little area so you can look at it.
Just the wings. Well, the rest of it's all wood, so it's wood. Bare wood?
Well, this has been sanded with 1500. And it should look mostly like this, so all these little shiny spots are out here.
I think I've seen it.
I'll bet you have.
Come on, man. I have one of those propellers. But Wendy has 6.
7.
7? Oh, I missed one.
God. Boy, I always give you credit for the things you don't deserve.
I only got one, you know.
Well, you're a young man.
Anybody else want to see this?
That's 1500. That's 1500.
Well, actually, this year I might give Wendy a break. I might take 50. I'll let him have 4.
Don't you dare.
You know, I'm going to ruin your reputation.
You don't have to. Other people do. Okay, now watch how quick this comes up.
I love to
This
watch it.
depending on how long this dope is dry, which probably is... John, how long is this dope dry? John? How old is the dope finished? Week, 2 weeks, month?
Probably about a month.
Oh,
Because of the weather,
yeah.
I just couldn't get back. So it should go real quick. It should polish up real quick. Listen, if I bring my green airplane, would you re-rubbish me again?
You bet I would. Price is right.
Right, just leave your wallet at the door, Bob. And that credit card that buys all those
Oh,
CDs.
CDs?
Yeah, we want that credit card. Oh, yes.
This is
Ugh.
coming out pretty good. If everyone wants to come up and just take a look. And I haven't spent a tremendous amount of time on it.
But now John's got to do the whole plan.
Well, he's going to hang that so you can't see it. Be near the seal.
First that spot there.
I didn't rub there. I just rubbed here.
You didn't take them all out either.
No. And when you are done, it'll all be gone.
Oh, yeah, look at it.
Go back over. But I use a little coarser polish, and then I use this like for my finish.
What is that?
This is Gorham. Silver polish. Extra polish.
So what's this coarser one that you... That's what you're doing.
The kind that I use for wires is called a power compound, power cleaning compound.
Oh, okay. McGuire.
Yes, McGuire. And then I use Gorham's, and I use a new car glaze. Sometimes it just seems it's a different color, even though it has clear on it. Polish is better than one than the other. I like them all.
New car glaze is that pink stuff, right?
Yeah, that's after you get it all rubbed out real good and everything, then you can do it with that. And don't just wipe it off and wipe it off. Work your McGuire's in, because the more it works into the paint, the better it looks. And it's paint safe. Did he get to look at it? Sleepy? Did Sleepy come up and look at it?
Where's Sleepy?
Did you look at the... I mean, you want to learn how to polish. No,
that's why you rub that.
Sleeping, yeah. Feel it with your hand. Sleepy, feel it with your hand.
See, this looked like this after I sanded it with 1500. And I've polished it very lightly.
What was that word?
Now, we'll tell you, and when he can't do, it's a lot of work.
Well,
You know, when you sand and polish
when
an
you retire,
airplane,
you ain't got nothing to do with.
that's right.
So we're gonna expect a concourse win this week? Wax on, wax off.
Just take your time doing it. And then Gorham's under after that? Yeah, Gorham's or, like I said, I like to use a compound a little heavier cut to begin with. And then it brings a good shine, and then I'll go back with like Gorham's or I'll use a Yukon. Polish like Yukon number 7, something like that. Anything that's clear coat, for day production, yes. 3M has a complete polishing kit. Different stages that would work very well. Yes. You want to be sure that you have enough clear coat on before you begin this final sanding. You know, John has 6 coats on here. That should be plenty. Because I'm sure. Did you put some on and then sand it and then put the last 6 on?
All 6 on.
Okay. If it had a lot of, if it had a lot of lettering and graphics and stuff on it, I would put 6 coats of clear on and I would probably sand that smooth, and I'd probably use 1,000 or 600, and I'd be very careful around the edges so I didn't sand through the colors. And then I'd go back and re-clear again. Whereas if I was doing my 6 coats, I would double coat my areas that are tape lined so that it'll build up and I can sand it completely smooth. Because you don't get a lot of extra weight with your clear dope. And then you can, if a person wants to take the time, they can actually finish sand it with 600, go back over 15 or 2,000. The 600 will cut it quick to begin with, and then go back and sand each panel with 1,500, polish it a panel at a time. Because a lot of times people start sanding and then they lose interest in it. You don't have to do it all at once.
Yeah, I know.
You know, say, okay, I want to do this tonight. Work on this or half a wing or what have you.
That's the way Wendy does it.
And
Yeah, a couple hours a day, 2-3 hours a day.
when this is done, this will look like a big mirror. It'll have a beautiful finish to it. I'm gonna sand
You don't have to do it. After the plane's a year old, you can do it.
Yeah.
You can do it whenever you feel like it.
round circle, and as you open up the fan will increase. This will probably give you a good 4-inch fan. Okay. And so you need to adjust this depending on what you're painting. If you're painting a complete airplane, you're going to want to have a good 4-inch pattern on it. This is your fluid adjustment. Your fluid adjustment is regulated. I like to back it out, pull the trigger clear down. Now this is when you're painting the airplane complete. Not any letters or graphics or anything, but the airplane. And then I'll screw this in until I feel the trigger. And that's where you should start spraying. But always do a test pattern. Test it on a piece of cardboard or something so you see that it's spraying your paint the way you've mixed it, the way you want it to shoot. If you're going to shoot some graphics or some letters, you can turn this down and fine-tune your fluid to where very little comes out, and you can fog along your tape line, put a fogging line there, or paint small areas. And the object is not to get your letters so wet that it makes it really thick. You know, if you have to put on 3 coats, don't pile it on to begin with. Put it on, you know, medium wet. It doesn't have to be wet or dry. He's added a regulator here. This will give him the true pressure at his paint gun, because at the wall it may say 45 pounds. If he has 50 foot of hose, hell, he may only have 43 or 40 pounds pressure at the gun. So you need to regulate that, and you can also change this. You can cut it clear down to where it's going to paint like an airbrush almost for you. And with an airbrush, I suppose a regular airbrush, we use about 15, 20 pounds of pressure. So those are the things that are important. Understanding the adjustment of a gun. Every gun basically is the same, but you need to learn it and use it. And there's a lot of variables. Once you get to where you paint anything, hell, you can get by doing about anything, but you have to learn it first. You don't want to teach shortcuts to somebody that doesn't know how to do the proper thing the first time. So, but this gun here is a very good paint gun. Are you still handling the Iwatas?
Yeah.
Okay. The Iwata is an excellent gun. It's just a little pricey for our sport. You know, a lot of people don't want to spend $200, $300 per gun. But if you went out and could buy one of these brand new or a big set, Binks 15, you'd spend $200, $300. But you can go down to your Walmart or someplace, you can buy a $39.95 gun that's basically like this, and it'll work for everything we want to do. And then you can buy yourself a Badger or a Cashier airbrush to do all your lettering, detail work, fogging along your body lines, ink lines, whatever. And of course you have your pens to do your actual ink lines. Are there any other questions on adjustments of guns, uses of guns? Pressure is variable. Depends on the person, how it sprays for you. Go ahead.
That was my question. Pressure, is it the thinner the lacquer, the less pressure, or is that?
Can be. Depends on what you're doing at the time. That's why I said always use a test pattern first. And what pressure you're using, you may have to regulate to get it to shoot the material that you're using. Basically, my dopes I'm usually shooting at up to 60-70% reduced. And you can shoot it heavier, but you don't need to. Half and half will work good. It just depends on what you're doing and how the paint covers and how it goes on. If it goes on like stucco, you've got it mixed way too heavy. Unless that's the finish you're looking for.
So you're looking for certain texture when you adjust. You're
looking for a nice smooth texture.
Should it be glossy or matte?
It's going to be glossy when it's wet, and then it's going to dry down, dull down. About the only paints that you paint today in automotive that you don't want to have a gloss to begin with are your base coats. They go on kind of semi, and then they dry it to a dull flash out, and then you're ready for your next coat, which is about 5 minutes to do, depending on humidity or whatever. Some people would ask about using automotive paints on an airplane. The base coat isn't too bad because it's not super heavy, and if you were to paint your plane like with red, Brodak red, Miss Ashley, and you had a red like on this PT Cruiser, you could probably put one coat of that over it, and then come back and let it flash out and put dope over it. And that one coat, you'd have that color because you have a red base underneath it, and you don't have to put a tremendous amount of additional weight on it. Is there anybody here that paints with urethane clears on their airplanes? Anybody tried it?
You mean the water base?
I haven't had experience in water base. Dave?
I've had experience, not water based, but I've sprayed urethane.
What urethane are you using that you?
PPGs.
PPGs? Which one?
The one you told me to use.
Okay.
The one you told me.
Not. I can't remember the number, but it's not tremendously thick. It's not a
No,
heavy.
it's like spraying dope.
Yeah.
It's just like spraying regular dope.
A lot of your what call them aftermarket companies that are producing your urethane clears that are selling for like $49.95 a gallon, you better check those out. They're real watery. You can use that real good. One coat. Finish your airplane, sand it out with 600, get it nice and smooth, your lettering all nice and smooth, hang your plane out, shoot one coat of urethane on it, walk away, come back. Looks like you spent a long time sanding and buffing.
Does that have sort of an amber cast to it?
No, sir, it shouldn't have. You're going to want a clear.
Yeah,
some of them do have an amber cast.
But some have an amber cast too.
And you don't want that.
How do you tell which you're going to do?
Have them open it for you.
Well, you just look in the can?
Yep.
Oh.
Yeah. And your amber cast is only going to affect your light colors, a white, a silver, light blues or anything. Over darker colors, you'll never notice it. But over white, definitely, it'll turn your white yellow. And as it dries and sun affects it, it can even change that much more. So you want a good crystal clear, and Brodak's dope is a good crystal clear, and that works good. But a urethane you can use one coat for a plane that you aren't going to, really concourse, but you'd like to get out and fly real quick. Dynamite. Okay. Okay.
No problem. No.
This clear right here, sure, it's thin.
Right. See that up there? The same thing. That's just cheap. I don't have to take. I got to cut it off.
This would be a good cheap clear.
What brand is that?
What's it mixed? 4-to-1? 4-to-1 ratio.
Whose brand is that?
This is Auto Body Master. Well, I don't know what body part store sells it around here.
Generic.
And what do you cut it with, Bob?
Nothing.
Right out of the can.
Out of the can with one part activator.
Remember the yellow?
Oh, it's two-part mix?
4-to-1.
But it's a two-part.
Is this a two-part mix?
Yes, 2 parts. Urethane. With the catalyst.
Oh.
Did you reduce?
Make sure you use good mask.
And I don't mind either. You can cut it down to about 10%, but it gets pretty runny.
So you just mix it with the catalyst and away you go.
Yep. Mix it thorough. How many people here that use paint strainers?
I use socks.
Paint strainers for your
Wool socks.
your primers, your clears, everything. And make sure your gun's good and clean. That won't be it.
Are you saying that you want two-part mixes for this urethane clear then? Because I understood that you meant just you go down and you buy a can of urethane clear, but you don't mix it with anything.
Oh no, you have to have a
It has to be
catalyst.
a two-part.
Yeah.
Okay.
Automotive urethanes are all a catalyzed.
Don't let it sit in the gun.
No, 4 to 1. 4 to 1.
Bob, tell him not to let it sit in the gun.
Yes.
On a hot day.
When the gun, yeah, especially on a hot day because the pot life is short. Drastically. So what if it
In
says you have
Canada, it's okay, but not in the
it
United
says you have a 2-hour pot life on here and you're painting at 90 degrees, it cuts it down probably about 15, 20 minutes, and you let it sit in that gun, and in an hour it might even start setting up.
You're not cleaning that up with a standard paint thinner then?
Paint thinner, we'll paint it.
Lacquer thinner?
Yeah. Acetone works good, because it's a little hotter.
It turns into a banana
And
inside
I
your
would
gun.
suggest that when you use a clear urethane in your paint gun, after you're done, take your gun apart. Clear apart, because it'll start building up on the needle back in here. And then when that shit does, when it starts breaking loose, no matter whether you exchange your paint or not, you'll be painting along and all of a sudden you get this. You'll say, well shit, I've been straining my paint. Here's big globs of something in your paint. The paint strainers, guys, one of the cheapest, best insurance to help you come out with a good, clean paint finish. How many use paint masks? So not enough of us. It's important to use paint masks, especially with this stuff.
Yeah, you can come out like Wendy.
Okay,
I look shiny, but
then I'll get you one that does what we're talking about. Because most of the ones that I use on our systems can affect your nerves. I mean, and you know, a lot of people say, oh well,
look at their
won't bother me.
yes, that stuff's on there. Look at the
Enter
shine.
through your eyes, enter through your hands. Rubber glove.
Over here?
Oriental's face down.
Oh, the Oriental, yeah.
Look at the shine.
That's good. That's
No
good.
buffer, no nothing.
Nothing wrong with that.
The first 45 minutes of using catalyzed paint, if I sign mask, good charcoal mask, yes, it's special.
What do you mean by mask? Something that covers your eyes?
If you can afford to buy one that covers your eyes, yes, because paint rubber I use all those. I'm just going to finish it so I can get on the fly, and you know, it's not something I'm going to do outdoors. It's suggested not to be used over lacquer, but it sprays over dope, so dopes and lacquers are quite a bit alike. I'll be saying a little bit on this black up here. Do the polishing. Yes.
Gravity feed guns.
I use both. I have gravity feed and pressure.
What can you tell us about the gravity feed?
The gravity feed paint gun, some is a little awkward because you have your paint on top of the gun. The smaller touch-up guns, it's not so noticeable because they do make guns kind of comparable to this size. It's gravity feed, top load, HVLD.
I read that they have a lot less overspray.
A lot less overspray and a lot more transfer. You're getting, compared to a conventional paint gun, it's about 35 to 40% on your paint. With an HVLD, you're putting 65 to 70% on with most HVLDs.
Does it go down any differently as far as leveling or any other characteristics?
This sprays is good or better than a conventional paint gun. You need to learn your paint gun, your air pressures and stuff, and you'll get it to lay on the way you want it to lay on. And when they first came out, their HVLPs, they had a lot of problems with them because they didn't know how to adjust them to the proper air pressures. And if you put the clears on, like stucco. Now, you have to use a little higher pressure, thicker clear in automotive. So dope is pretty much all the same resistance. And that's, again, a test pattern.
There's no major advantage.
Major advantage is you're going to use a lot less material. So if you can paint one airplane with a kind of paint, you'll paint two with that kind of paint.
airbrush compressor. Smaller airbrush compressor, it seems to be able to work because of the gravity. The other way around, I wouldn't think it worked. We got to keep the paint thin, that's all.
Okay. The thing about the HPLP gun is it takes a volume of air different than a regular conventional paint gun.
I noticed the major, it's just barely on the borderline of this gun. Specs. So apparently it had enough.
Sit by me. You're spraying great big areas and stuff.
It's about that big.
Yeah. You can use about anything. Spraying wing panels and whole airplanes. That's why he didn't come, you know. Well, actually, he is coming. Are you guys having a good time back here?
They're very disrespectful.
Why? Did you ever sit in a corner in school? Oh, I always used that. They put me in the closet.
You know what? You're getting put in the closet again. If we can fit you in there.
Who's that garage door? Okay, you guys want to talk a little bit? I'm going to sand a little bit on top of this, and then I'll polish a little area, and you can look at it again. Think of any questions that you'd like to know. If you have any questions on Brodak paint, if you have any questions on what he might be coming out with, we do have a new red that I'm going to spray a little bit of tonight that he's working on. I'll probably shoot a little candy blue. We'll spray a little bit of his new B25 silver.
Yeah, John, what's the difference between silver and B25 silver?
But twice the pigments and stuff, right? When you tested that?
What's the
There's-
difference between the B25 and
Okay, you ever buy a Mercedes-Benz?
Yeah.
You can buy it two ways. A $2,000 paint option or the one that comes on the car. That's the difference. The paint is pearlescent. It shines in the sun. It's got, I think, 2 or 3, you stirred the paint. 2 or 3 times the amount of pigment, and it is expensive.
Yeah.
But the B25 that I'm sure most people have already seen a little bit, I brought just for this purpose, has 3.5 ounces of silver on it. So that would normally be a quart of silver. I don't know how much silver to paint the B25 size plane.
Yours?
Yeah.
Like that size. With an HVLP, guy's going to buy it with less than a pint.
Yeah, I did 3.5 ounces. So that's just to give you an idea. You don't want to use that paint for making sanding sealer, for doing little the same way. But Bob knows the up-to-date price on what pearls are. I know years ago it was $80 for a little jaw. Is it 400 now or something? Who knows?
It's up there. If
Yeah.
I was going to use this on my airplane, I'd use the base silver first.
That's what I did, yeah.
Get it all silver smooth and nice and even.
Smooth, and then just use this
One coat.
the last coat with the pearly shine in it.
so it comes out like it's got a real tight.
It really doesn't look good until you put the clear on it. I kind of think it sits. Bob will tell you the definition of how the flakes sit.
Yeah.
Modern paints, the flakes sit on purposefully on angles. Then when the clear comes on, Midgley knows this stuff too.
Get different reflection and reflection.
You get reflection from certain angles that looks.
Oh,
If you really want, I'll go pull it out of the car and put it under the light. But put a table up where, you know, we don't have somebody with like Lampione who'd knock it off the table, you know.
Come over and check it out with my fingernails.
My problem is,
Give me a kiss.
Isn't it?
That's right.
I'll tell you what. If John's in that history, he had already 600 shots. That or what? So I use the dries faster. You see the finish. It looks. I mean, it's great.
Yeah.
But it doesn't look like a big throat.
No, I know, that's right.
Yeah. It lacks that.
It has a plasticky look to it. It almost looks like shrink wrap.
Yeah.
That's what my friend is saying. I'm a little bit on.
Yeah, really shy.
That's right.
That's fine.
John and I were just discussing, he brought up the fact that mixing paint is very, very important. You mix your paint thoroughly, even solid color paints, because most of them have more than one pigment in them. And if you don't mix them thoroughly, you ever mix the paint and you think you're done, and you look at the bottom of a glass jar, and here it is orange down here, and your jar is red? Well, it's not the color it's supposed to be yet, until it gets all mixed up. And then it's colored. So you really want to mix your paints thoroughly, especially metallics.
Stay.
What do you want me to do? I'll mix sometimes 5-10 minutes. I don't want to see my compound. I'll just get going. You'll see it gets no lumps on you. Just about 5 minutes now. Pick over underneath the light there. Yeah. Hey, Wendy, here's this new paint. Look at him. Oops.
Only took a pint to do it that time.
I know. I know.
What do you have that's silver? We can do that comparison.
When I hand polish up, look on mine.
This is.
There's a difference in what you get.
Yeah. Look at it, silver. Look at it.
Yeah, it's like in sunlight it's 10 times better. This is on the fluorescent light never shows a good pearl color. It doesn't even show the blue the way it should. But that kind of depth, you're not, there's no comparison. The red is another example. Miss Ashley red, that's another one of the custom colors that John and I have come up with. That's the other stunt ship is the whole plane is that color, but the next color that we're working on, I hope, is the one Lampion's plane, is that bright green. I think everybody likes that bright green. For trim,
Gone green.
what's the trade name?
Gone green.
Gone green, Plymouth green, whatever it is. What they're doing over here.
You don't have garments, but you've got 1,500 paper. What do you recommend after the 10
Just the new color red, Bob?
I don't know what to buy.
Okay. McGuire, if you can remember McGuire.
Yeah.
Go to your automotive store and tell them exactly how McGuire's
Well, they go twice as
cleaner compound.
Yeah,
Power cleaner compound. Or tell them say that. Can't remember exactly. I'm finishing the purple. Don't tell them from all their plants. And I needed a compound that's not too heavy, except that we've got 1,500 scratches. I'm going to be doing it by hand. Then go.
This is the best buffing agent in the world, right here. So it's light.
That'll be to service your car. And that is a fine cut here if you don't hardly feel it.
You got silk on
And then after that,
I just cover up with this. I was keeping it.
we don't all have access to garments, you know, and
Hell, you can. Oh my God! Oh yeah! You can do that. Yeah, you can do that. Yeah, you can drop.
This is the new color red, Bob?
This is the new
Oh, nice.
pearl red metallic.
Oh, nice.
Cover all. Yeah, oh yeah, look at it.
Yeah, put a little blob on there. Oh, yeah.
$3 for 5 yards. Is that right? Oh, it's yeah. No.
That's nice color. That's like almost like that Chevy color that all the 55 Chevys used to be painted. Oh, yeah. Nice. Nice.
Somebody can lid come on.
Watch that baby drooling.
Yeah.
You've got to twist it. You just twist the wing. Heat dries and takes it right on.
And then when you get clear on it, it really comes alive.
Oh, yeah. It's the same with the silver. The clear has to come alive.
1 ounce.
The light goes
That's fine. 1 ounce.
And it's all picture parts too.
F&B did.
When's that?
K&B, I mean. No, that's wrong. It's F&B. They have it wrong. I had to change it. It's F&B. They put that. They had several.
Who's F&B?
They were in the late 40s. The kid coming. When's the kid coming up? 20, 60 days. Because I'm waiting for my guys now. Do that and buy some of them.
Yeah, I saw the
Yeah, ain't that nice?
Yeah. Is the kid on the way?
No, I got that. That's what happened.
Is this a 40th or a 50th? That's it. I can't tell. It's the best box that was ever made.
Because George reworked that.
Oh, did he?
No, I'm going to get something else.
Wendy, still Jet 35?
Yep.
Wendy, is this the body balsa?
Yes, yeah.
It's all wood, yeah.
Has the wing come off?
All comes apart in pieces, yeah.
You'll be how many times I've done press. I've been putting weight in.
You know,
cartoon? Yeah, that's a good one.
Oh, yes, when it. I've done a couple of those.
Get rid of these lids. Yeah, I see what you're talking about. Right, see, that's exactly. And now shine like a glove. Yep. No marks, so I know how to put my lines. So I start writing the pencil marks off the color change. This paint, like Bob said, the material underneath it, if I sand this, it would become a bright yellow instead of being a cream yellow. So what I had to do is I had to go back and paint the whole thing over again, which added another 2 or 3 ounces. Then I put 2 coats of clear blocker paint on them. Now I can go ahead and put my stripes on, put pencil marks on, and erase it. It ain't going to hurt the paint.
His blocker paint is clear.
Right.
2 coats of clear, he lets it dry, and then he can do what he wants to on it.
Right. So no matter, never miss that part when you go to do it. Before you go to do any of your striping, put a couple of coats of clear on it. Then you can go do your striping. You can put your pencil marks on. You can erase your pencil marks off. You don't hurt the airplane.
If you get some bleed through around a piece of masking tape, you have a much better chance of being able to sand that off and not go through.
And putting those 2 coats of clear on it and pick up no weight at all. Now I'm protected on it. Okay, that's a big lesson I learned. Drop this something.
Wheels look small on that guy.
I don't want to pour out of that punch hole. Anybody want to drink this siphon out here for me?
Lampion will.
Lampion?
Give him another beer, he'll drink anything.
She was sympathizing. You better
Senator, I'll leave that last one up. Set it well.
We're ganging.
How much are you getting that, Bob?
Family secret.
I mean,
Got a little gauge right on the spray gun. On the back of your feet.
mixing paint.
Should be.
You said how many years?
Oh, okay, I see. Right now.
We'll let you flash out before I put a second coat on it. This is mixed approximately 50-50. This is the new red pearl metallic. I'll put one more coat on, I'll let it flash out a little bit. Then I'll put some clear on it. And you can see it covered pretty good in one coat.
Oh boy, that is true.
Hey, somebody should put
Now.
that over silver or something like that.
Yeah, that's silver.
That's silver, yeah.
That's what I mean, they recommend putting it over silver or something like that.
I always use white. Wendy says over silver. My last coat, I put white on it, and I go and paint my color. And even though that's pretty, I'll tell you, it's prettier over white. You still got some coat over this white?
Okay.
You know, you'll see the difference with this.
This is a little wider pattern than most of mine do. This is closed.
Yeah.
And you're welcome to use mine, but just so you have your own.
I got one at hotel. I charged mine and I charged one I got from you. I got them both.
Just so we both have
By
that.
tomorrow, boom.
Good.
See the difference in that?
Oh yeah, how much wider? Yeah.
How much pressure do you use on that?
This one I've got set,
I always use
spraying
32.
about 30 pounds.
Yeah, I'm like 30, 32.
Yeah, this goes back up to 80 pounds right now. That's what it's showing.
That's your line pressure.
That's the line pressure until I So,
What do you guys need now is a gloss coat.
I'm going to turn the fluid clear in and the nozzle clear in. Nothing. I'll back this fluid out just a little bit till I start to get a little air and fluid. And you see how light the paint goes on?
Yeah.
I'll cut that down even a little more on the fluid. You might even have to increase the pressure, take the pressure down a little bit. Now on mine, when I adjust this, I can get this down even narrower than this. But you get a regular airbrush, you see you can cut clear down and just get it to where it barely fogs any paint on, so you can go around an edge or something.
I did. I did.
That's your pattern.
My friends all abandoned.
This is your fluid. That's about a 2-inch pattern.
Get that white so see how it looks. Yeah, this one. Oops, got in your
Can to clean up on it.
Oh, that's because the mint is so high.
That's okay.
Yeah, okay, do it again, yeah, so you can see the comparison.
It covered good.
That's not how Wendy put a coat on.
No, I know.
I seen when
This red's darker, but of course it did a couple times.
Yes, this has 2 coats on, this just has 1.
So,
Yeah.
are you worried about getting
I'm more
out on the airplane and so forth?
No, it's on my airplane. This is base coat, dope, what have you, and it's not going to get over there and get overspray on it. If I were shooting that urethane clear, yeah, you wouldn't want it. You want that airplane covered.
Really? Bob, we're at it now. Let's talk about, mentioned to everybody covering red. Remember I called you up, this one customer asked me about the red kept bleeding through.
Oh,
I asked you how long it take for it to cure, you said 7 years.
Yeah.
Spray it over orange.
Yeah. A lot of times when you're painting a red and you try to cover it like with white or something, it's going to bleed through. If you can seal it with a clear, you're okay. But most of the time, if you're going to paint like that, do your light colors first.
Then go back over it with your darker color, so you don't have that problem. And be sure when you go over your colors, if you have half this wing black and half of it white, and you want to paint it this color, it hasn't achieved this color until it's covered both the black and the white. But if you looked at one half of it over the white, you'd say, well, hell, that's covered. Then you look over the black and you say, well, no, I can still see the black through it. So it isn't covered even though it looks even on here. And you have to cover that. That's the way masking papers even come black and white checkerboard. You ever seen that, Dave? Works great. When you're painting your panels, you can see when you have your car actually covered.
Joe Reinhardt said he never used silver underneath. He paints.
Okay.
I tried that. I put 6 coats of orange on, and you can still see the wood. And it ain't never covered. What am I?
Here's the answer. Does Wendy use silver? Yep. End of discussion. Any more questions?
Yeah, Wendy told me to get 2 guns, one for clear and one for color. Then the next time I came here, he said buy the $350 gun.
Because I know you got the money. These other people have family obligations. You're a bachelor.
My personal opinion about what you just said, and painting it over wood and over silver, if you put 6 coats on and it didn't cover, and you put 6 coats over silver, it still didn't cover. That's right.
Really?
That's right. All the silver's doing is making an even base. All the silver has done is made an even base that you hopefully have covered evenly. If you paint a yellow over that, over your silver, and you may think it's on, and it'll turn green.
You get chartreuse.
Well, I don't have a problem because I'm red and green colorblind.
Okay.
Too bad you're not orange colorblind. It would have covered in one coat.
Dope, is it Brodak dope?
Yeah, Brodak dope.
We're working on that. Some of them we found that it doesn't have the proper amount of pigment in it to cover properly.
What color was it?
But believe me,
Orange.
orange. Believe me, if you painted it over a piece of wood with clear on it, and you have another piece of wood over here with silver on it, and you put 6 coats the same exact way on it, there's no more coverage on this silver than there is on this piece of wood.
Hey Bob, why don't you talk about how to prepare a surface for paint before you spray?
What type of wood to begin with?
I'm talking about
just balsa.
I'm talking about like you've got silver, you've been handling it.
Okay.
What do you want to prepare? What do you want to wipe it down with to get rid of fingerprints and oil and all that kind of
Dave's
stuff?
brought up something good here. That's something good to discuss. When you've been working with your model airplane, and let's say you're using silver as your base, and you have it in silver, and you've been handling it a lot. I agree with Wendy. M600 is the best wax and grease remover you can use.
Not Prep Salt?
Prep Salt will work, but I think M600 is a lot better. I think it doesn't leave the residue on. It dries fast. It doesn't have a reaction.
Where do you get it?
You can wipe it good and clean. If you happen to leave it a little bit down somewhere, you don't have a problem with it. It's going to dry out. Does this work good for you?
Yeah.
I've never used this product, so I can't tell you. Does it evaporate fast?
Yeah.
Okay.
Real quick.
This is DuPont's Final Clean 3901S.
But that, okay.
But
More than one company makes
from them.
I've used a lot of different wax and grease removers, and I think M600 is probably the best out there on the market today.
Automotive product, because I went to automotive shop and they said they never heard of it.
M600 is Sickens.
Yeah, I heard that.
Excellent Noble.
Yeah.
See what
Somebody said
bothered me about it is the smell of the stuff.
Okay.
You might look at it, that's nice.
Yeah.
You have to go to a place that carries Sickens products. S-I-K-K-E-N-S.
No, but I heard it. I got a gallon of Prep Salt.
And once you wipe off your airplane with wax and grease remover of a good quality like M600 or what have you, you don't want to handle it.
Is Axo Noble the same as...
John, move that.
That's Sickens.
No, this.
Yes.
So don't
That's the manufacturer. German manufacturer. Always seal it with 1 or 2 coats of clear. And the main reason is, so I can handle it easier. It's not as delicate. If it's the silver, the coarseness of the silver will take the oils from your hands and will trap fingerprints. You may not see them. You go to put clear on top of that, and you want your plane to be silver, and you've got fingerprints in it.
The main reason for fillets lifting?
Pardon me?
Is that why fillets lift?
Fillets.
Well, say it's baby powder and nitrate milk.
Baby powder and nitrate milk. Wendy? I don't use either.
Wrong material. Why not use toothpaste or something? I mean, that's there's no strength and no adhesion. It's the worst of all worlds.
Yeah.
Peanut butter would be better.
Epoxy and there's epoxylite, aeropoxy in it.
Yep.
I'm sold on it.
What's that stuff you told me to use?
Aeropoxy light.
Yeah.
Brodak has that. Bondo's okay if you're too cheap to buy aeropoxy light.
I'm the one that puts that.
Oh, well, that's what he told me.
But it doesn't matter. If it works, it works. It's not a contest.
Don't get it sanded good, the paint lifts right off it because of the oil lamps or whatever it is inside it. Aeropoxy that he sells, you don't have that problem. And you can even put your plane in base coat, put it on as smooth as you can get it, let it sit and sand it lightly.
Yeah, that's what.
Whatever. I haven't had it fall off there yet.
Oh, I know.
You know.
No, but mine don't say Brodak. Mine say the old stuff.
Guess where they all come from?
Yeah, they all come the same place.
There's one hole in the ground where they dig aeropoxy out.
Sure, that's real heavy now. That's going way light. You can do 20 airplanes with that.
Hey, go over and get one. What's this? Let me see this.
Water on it, smooth it down nice.
Let that guy feel it.
I've been trying, but
But
I have a problem with the epoxy.
normally, when you have a problem with your paint lifting off the fillets, it's because it hasn't been prepped properly or hasn't cured properly, whatever you've used.
Is the paint lifting or is the fillet? Is the actual paper lifting off?
Oh, no, it's the paint.
The paint.
Just the paint?
And you don't want to put your paper on the fillet because it'll pull off.
No.
Okay, it ridges and it doesn't, it's just no good.
I suspect that I got fingerprints.
Use that. It'll stick fine.
At least till midnight.
Collect.
If you have a problem with anything on model airplanes that I might be able to help you with.
Is that okay with Mrs. Brookins?
I'm up to.
She doesn't go to bed before I go to bed.
There's a message in there somewhere, Bob.
Right.
I'm not sure what the message is, though.
Want me to clarify it for you?
I'd like her to clarify it.
Hey, Bob.
Yes.
Which time zone are you in?
Central.
Well, if you're from South Africa, what time would that put it? We're Central. Okay. So,
You can email them anytime, too.
1 o'clock. Just don't hang up on me.
You know, by the time you wake up, right?
Yeah. I want to talk.
Yeah.
You still have the same email address, Bob?
Yes.
Okay, and you have a separate one.
But I answer.
That's what I was coming. You stole my punchline.
Address is pretty easy for you guys. It's clstuntflyer@aol.com.
So you're the guy who got it asked.
Yes. Did we get any clear out of yours? Any clear?
I could bring up a point here, too.
How about donuts? You got any donuts back there? You could sell a dozen donuts here in a minute. Okay, now if I didn't stir that, let me just show everybody. If I didn't stir that, what would happen?
I would want to eat it.
Because all epoxy is not homogenized. See what happens? Now the people that have problems, because they don't stir it, they scoop off the top and make, now they don't have any of the chemical binder down there. Okay, I'm not going to stir it yet. Okay, but you see how that happens? Okay. It'll happen. Okay, that's aeropoxy light.
Because it separates.
It separates like
Anything else?
sanding sealer, primer, paint. Sinks to the bottom. Now, if you stir each one up, then mix them 2 to 1 by weight, you'll never have a problem.
It'll work.
But now it's turned into a whole different material, different consistency. Now you mix it 2 to 1. And the few people that have said, oh, my blah, 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 and mailed me back the material, it's exactly what they didn't do.
Right.
So, like, that could be in the directions. You know, next time you reformulate directions or throw paper in with each batch, that'll help, or put in your catalog, whatever. Now that's a whole new different material. It's a different consistency even. Now you can go mix it 2 to 1.
Right.
And you're safe.
And Wendy uses weight For a skill, I use this half teaspoon. I fill this up.
See, you grew up 40, you know that.
You can pass that around.
Yep. That's going to be a nice color. It's going to be
Yeah, it is.
popular like Miss Ashley's color.
Love the snow it's open in the evening.
That's a nice color, isn't it?
This
That
just
color I
has this just has one coat on it, so
Yeah.
you're going to be able to see through it.
Let's sleepy paint something.
You got any orange?
Huh?
You got any
What color
orange?
do you want to be?
Orange?
How about an orange face?
What do you clean your glasses with? This is a big thing.
Oh,
that-
anything.
with other- well,
These are glass.
okay, glass you can use anything with. If you have plastic lenses, you just bought the farm unless you use acetone. Acetone will clean right away. If you have overspray, use acetone. It doesn't hurt plastic lenses.
Really?
Anything else, you put lacquer thinner on it, you just throw them glasses away. They're not worth it.
Acetone doesn't eat plastic?
Acetone doesn't eat
That's what the doctor said. Or the
Alcohol.
maybe- No, no.
Acetone, I think, would dissolve it quicker than lacquer thinner.
You want to start a turn?
Well, Bob, you have a pair of glasses we can try.
Mine are all glass lenses.
Who has a pair of spare glasses?
We'll use mine.
Your next
On
point,
second thought, maybe I ought to just shut up. Never mind. Forget that.
Sure they didn't say Windex?
Yeah, use some acetone.
You the guy that ate the peanut butter?
Be gone.
Yes.
Melt them right away.
Retarded, 50-50. Of course, there's no ink on it. No, I'll tell you what, I did one, and all the ink lines turned into a real nice line.
Yeah. That thinner draws that green to it, and even black to it or anything, and it'll come out black color or blue pearl with gold highlights where the sunlight hits it across the ribs, across wing bays and what have you.
Just don't make any
That is
mistakes
something,
with it.
pardon?
Don't make mistakes with it, because
Yeah.
you can't go back and match it.
You can't go back and match it. It's very difficult to work with.
In New York, we got a place called Pearl Paint, and I was asking them about making gold paint because not too many companies make a real gold dope. And they said to add this copper powder or no, just the powder to clear. And I sprayed it and it came out gold.
It's a gold powder. I don't know if the company's still around, but
Can I say what you guys?
Crescent Company used to make these powders. You could buy many different ones, greens, blues, silvers. I have a few that I bought back in the 60s. They have a bright gold, they have a silver that's dynamite, they have a green, they have an orange that I used on my Corvette when I painted a candy persimmon and did the scallops. I did those with the orange powder and then fogged in candy root beer and painted the whole car candy persimmon. And that was a very nice effect. That's how you're going to get your brightest golds, is with a gold powder.
Mm-hmm.
PPG makes them.
Pardon?
PPG has powdered pearls.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you go to your auto body
You
shop,
can put that right into
you
your
can
clear
ask
dope?
them. You can ask them to give you, bring in a little vial and just ask them to fill it up rather than buy the whole.
Yep.
The whole can for
They have a-
$100. Just bring in a vial, and most guys will give you a little vial full.
They'll
for
measure
$5
out
or
a couple
$10.
units, whatever
Yeah.
you're going to need. Won't be very. Now, is this your rejuvenator?
Right, that's what Doug brought up.
Okay.
A lot of people don't understand what you'd use that for.
Well, I've never used this,
Okay.
but I'm assuming it's a mixture of a hot reducer, hot thinner, and a clear,
Right.
and it brings the life
It melts the
colors
paint
back in.
down, so
Okay.
or you get that spider web
Okay.
effect on airplane. You paint that over and like melts it, blends it all back
Okay.
in again.
And if you have plastic lenses on your glasses, use toilet bowl cleaner. All right, I'm out of that one.
No, you're not out, Pete.
Have you used this rejuvenator?
I have, yeah.
Yeah, no.
On real airplanes, though, because of the same reason you just said, because it was cracked and crazy.
Tom McLean used it today.
It melts in real good. Can you polish it if you want to afterward? Or? All right. I figured because I was talking to Ron about it the other day. Wasn't I talking to you about some rejuvenator? I told him, I said, well, I've never seen
John,
it used
is that
it, but I
only
figured it
over
had to be a
Brodak or
clear
any dope?
and a
Okay, we have to
hot
ask him
thinner.
to see that.
So this will bring back life in your airplanes.
Okay, now he want to know if it works just with our paint or with anybody's paint.
If what?
If that works with SIG paint, for instance, there's only two out there.
I would imagine.
Herb gloss.
But don't mix it, believe me. I tried
they're
some
dope.
SIG with Brodak stuff. It doesn't work.
Never mix acetone with beer. Or you get klepsic on drugs.
I'm talking about a real old airplane. Say you got a 30.
Where's that guy with the biplane? I want him to fly me into the West somewhere.
I would say it's going to bring it back to life.
I'm talking about 30 years or 40 years ago, everything was Aerogloss.
Yeah, right. And I won't. But anytime you mix products, you can be asking for trouble.
But they didn't have rejuvenated then.
Yeah,
so,
and this isn't Aerogloss.
Okay.
So
yeah, all right. That's the
just
answer
stick with
that
the
I
product,
need.
and then if you have a problem, you can pick the phone up and call John, or you can call me.
Bob, you got some feedback.
And you can talk to us and be honest. If you use somebody else's product and you have a problem, tell us so that we know what we're looking at, so we can come up with some ideas.
And you add to the database so the next guy doesn't fall into the same trap.
And just like Wendy says, test a little bit on the bottom of the airplane.
Yeah.
And see if it works. Then if it
Yeah.
does, then go. You know.
Tom McLean used that today to fix his Cobra. Fixed the hole in the I-beam. Yeah, it worked perfect.
Thick paint, so.
Well, we'll see tomorrow if he's how it healed up.
Yeah.
I don't think that's sick. I think that's Brodak.
Oh, I had all this silver. I said I'm going to use it. So I took the silver and put it in a gun. I couldn't believe it. All the pigments, like one shot. So then I talked to Wendy about Randolph, and then we sent it to Randolph, and they checked it in.
So Sleepy, you might be successful with it.
Well, it's an old airplane.
No, he won't.
And they're rejuvenating and stuff like that.
6 coats of rejuvenator on that thing and it didn't come back.
I ate 9 donuts and I still don't look like Wendy. Better get me a dozen.
How long has this been painted?
That's the one.
All right.
What's that same one I did?
Yeah. You gotta put that big old radio in there.
Half hour?
Didn't you see that run, Al?
Look at it. Yeah. Talk about it, okay?
Al, didn't you hear that radio run Monday? Wednesday? Oh,
We're gonna have to
man.
crack it up tomorrow.
That'd be something. Yeah, out on the field.
You have to see that.
At the trophy presentation.
Nice laminated prop.
The radio.
Yeah.
Is that a Proctor prop?
Yeah. It's supposed to go with the whole thing.
Yeah.
What's it gonna go in?
Newport 11.
I believe it was.
What do you got there, Bob?
Oh, my white nobler?
Yeah.
That was all Brodak.
Okay.
Yeah.
How many coats of clear do you have on that?
5.
5?
Yeah. And no sanding and rubbing had been done on it.
Just 5 shots of clear and you're done.
That was it. I hadn't had a chance to sand and rub it at all.
What do you have for substrate on that?
Pardon?
What do you have underneath it? Is it wood, paper, and then dope?
Yeah.
Okay.
Part of the fuselage I had some carbon veil on,
Okay.
but most of it was silk span.
I should talk about. I don't want to. Cause I want to know if you use
That thinner?
rail over the open
Pardon?
day.
You got thinner in that?
Yeah.
Just go spray Pete, will you?
Does somebody want a
No, I
drink?
didn't say that.
Pete does.
Yeah. So he moved up.
You got some plastic lenses?
I used to. I tried out.
I used to.
I've never. The eye doctor told me because I have this plastic lenses, and I must have misunderstood everything. Okay, well,
That's the opposite.
it was early in the morning. I didn't even have a beer with my Cheerios. I'll call him up and I'll find out and I'll email him. Only you
Be okay.
It came with a
Hey, Bob.
I'll tell you what.
Hey, Bob, how about painting one of those planes on your pants there?
Pardon?
Put some clear on those.
I'll shoot this candy blue on
Okay.
your silver wing.
Okay.
Okay, let me get a little acetone before you.
Okay. Hey, Bob, you got any pearl over there? You got any pearl?
I'll be back.
You got any pearl? Clear pearl?
I don't have any powder or straight pearl.
There's no pearl over there?
Wish I did have though.
Yeah, you could spray one panel with pearl, one panel with nothing, and then put blue over both.
Oh, I don't have
Huh?
Oh, that's
Looks like a pneumatic tool.
No, that's buffing.
Any kind of pearl, you may want to spray that first.
Yeah,
So
you
they
go
can
pick
see
it
the
up how heavy it
difference.
is.
Is it electric or?
No, it works off air, but
Oh,
it's
it's
heavy. I go right through the airplane. He uses it all the time on his
If anybody
airplane.
wants to have any pearls or anything, I'm sure John will reject. I'll mix them.
He saw his hand.
That's pretty heavy, I know. That's the way Bob buffs his airplane.
Rivet gun.
Yeah.
That's Sleepy's old FBI gun.
Nobody move the guitar player. This is the little kit that sells for $19.95.
Hey, Jimi Hendrix, get out of the way, will you?
This is the little air grinder that I use for a polisher.
On your airplane?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Best, yeah.
No.
Yeah, I did, but I'm not even gonna look at it. I might get stupid and decide to drive by.
There'll be a 3-inch hole in the outer panel, the size of a donut. Well, I guess I pressed too hard on that one.
What do I do about a bump through?
Yeah. I'm on a trailing edge.
It's still blush real fast. I took straight retardant.
Is this the official?
Put it in the spray gun. Spray it over. Sprayed the retardant.
That's what Wendy was saying.
It turned glossy and perfect.
Hey, Pete. Is this the official Pete Gillespie lens cleaner?
Yeah, you can do that right. You don't have no inclines or nothing. You don't hurt anything. Right.
No, right. Decals or inclines and milk.
Right. That's
I'm going to lock myself.
And I thought, while I'm doing this, these guys, the good guys, that's
Well, I did it to myself. I thought it was acetone, maybe it's elephant. I'll never put my glasses on again.
I've tried to buff out blushes, but they didn't reappear.
But hey, Bob.
I've been able to buff out blushes, but they've returned.
Shouldn't.
Yeah?
You just don't rub hard enough.
Oh, okay. Well, I need that pneumatic thing.
When you're polishing and you're rubbing on it, it gets warm and it draws that out. That helps draw it out.
Well, I was just telling John that I did a blush on some black paint that I shot 2 weeks ago. And it got me all flustered and frustrated. I put straight retarder in the spray gun, made a real fine mist, shot it on there. It turned glossy and beautiful after that. The blush just went away.
You can get in trouble.
Yeah, see, I got it. I got it.
Just ask Pete if you want to know about getting in trouble.
Oh yeah, I just stepped in a puddle quick.
Missed the trouble.
You're gonna have a mess.
Yeah, it turned all glossy, then my plane melted.
I'm going to put a little pearl on here, and I'm going to put the candy blue over the red, the pearl, and the silver.
I made the mixture a lot
Isn't
of
that your
air.
airplane?
God, it was very fine.
Yeah, that's one of mine. Yeah,
It wasn't like shooting paint on it. It was
Yeah,
just
but
enough
then you
to
putting
dust
all
it.
of that paint, don't you want a little paper, sandpaper, and I sand some on that plane.
Oh, did you? That rough sandpaper. 80 grit.
No, the 50. No, the 15,000, whatever.
Yeah, I know. That's
1,500, Sleepy.
1,500.
That's what Wendy uses, right, Wendy? You use 15 or 12?
12. I like 12. But I got heavy hands.
Okay.
A delicate guy like Sleepy.
Hey,
Yeah.
you spray some more on
We're all getting simple.
Okay, I understand.
All the eyeglasses are melting over in that side of the room.
Okay, give her a whip.
your good times.
Bob, you're getting lucky tonight, mister.
Now this is a real good way to meet women. You come out with a spray gun. Hey, I'll spray thinner on you.
Some of the finer sandpaper cuts better than...
What color would you say this is?
Like 800 on some materials and some paints cuts better than 400.
That's gold.
You know,
Okay,
which
baby.
makes no sense because it's a
you want?
finer
I'm
cut.
going to get over that red.
Wipe it with acetone.
Brodak white.
That'll work.
Yeah.
That's one that...
About 6.5 years.
Pete'll have a solution.
Bob, when you're testing that, test it over here.
Hey, John, is the next color going to be acetone red?
I got a windy coat.
All right. A windy coat. Breathe deep, Bob. Always use a mask when you spray.
First time I watched him paint on a video, a buddy of mine was there. When he says, "This is one coat," he turned to me and says, "Jesus, it's just one coat." After 8 passes.
That's a New Jersey coat.
With Blake, I mean, here's one coat. I'm sitting there, when's he gonna quit? I'll never forget that.
That's now known as a windy coat.
I had to reach it in with it.
Oh man, what a rough crowd this is, boy.
But you know, Wendy, I've done the same thing.
Oh, I know.
It's like grandma's cooking with acetone.
Right.
A little pinch will do you.
There you go.
Put it in the pancake.
Pete's got a chicken recipe he's gonna give us later.
Okay, yeah, look at that.
Yeah,
All right.
We'll let that flash out about 30 seconds
Spread
and
over
blend it all together.
And another 15, 20.
Bob, you got a lot more pressure now. Bob, I know you use a lot more pressure now.
Yeah, turn it up a little bit.
Okay.
I wanted to try and get people happy.
150 pounds. He just wants to put Pete to sleep. Put him out of his misery over there.
Yes, ma'am. Me just because I like to spray propylene oxide? Who cares?
Well, you know, when lacquer was really the popular thing, and I sprayed with Ditzler DCA 468 before they changed it and it smelled like shit.
Poops.
People wanted to know when I was spraying a car. And when I paint a car, they'd come up and they'd all get chairs and sit in one corner of my garage. And there'd be anywhere from 11 to 17 people sitting there. And I mean, they just sat there and watched me spray because they got high on this shit.
They couldn't get up.
And then they had Pete come by and clean their glasses.
I'm dressed like a lady and I walked up down the acetone clean everybody's glass.
He's smiling in their face, he cracked.
We got a Dave, a new name for Pete, Acetone Boy. We could put his picture on a can of acetone.
I'll tell you what, I'll go home and take your tables or did you rip them? I really will. He lied to me.
Who lied to you?
Somebody, the eye doctor guy.
The eye doctor recommended this?
Don't spray on regular glass. You said spray on glass.
Pete, you've been a painter all your life. You believed him, didn't you? I can't. No, there's more to that story than
But I was doing all that painting. I didn't need glasses. You know, now I can't even find a car. I just paint everything in there, pull the car right, and hope
Oh, man.
Smart. Hey,
Maybe next year we'll do a demo on how to make pajamas for Brookins.
There's the key. What's wrong with the ones he's got?
Okay, next year, who's going to bring an airplane for us to paint?
Pete.
Bring one?
Okay. Okay. So we'll have an airplane here.
Anybody else want to bring an airplane?
What stage do you want it at? Just a clear stage?
The first time when Wendy came back into the hobby.
Wait a minute, why don't we just paint the rest of the Newport?
Why don't we
flag?
paint Pete?
He was painting planes with Imran. Two people went out and bought Imran and started spraying it, and they had to go to the hospital the next day.
That's how you get rid of the competition. That's how you get to be fifth at the Nats you spray paint all the other guys.
It worked, didn't it?
I went by Wendy.
They're not in the hobby, I don't know.
Wendy looked like a spaceman. Everything was covered. What the heck? Everything was covered. You couldn't even see his hands. He was spraying the plane. And the plane was big. I mean, at 1,000 square.
Yeah, it's true.
Was small for Wendy. And he sprayed, and I'm looking in the window. He couldn't get in. You had to look through the window. And I'm looking. I said, is that Wendy? They said, yeah, don't open the door.
It's a nice soft texture.
It's a rough crowd.
Were you painting UPS airplanes or model planes?
No.
He sent two people, and then after they came out the hospital, he said,
They're dead now.
You're not supposed to go and wear a whole suit. I even think he had his own air too.
Well, fireman.
Not for my competition.
Oh, Wendy. You say they're dead now, huh?
Yeah.
No. Because one of them was Bobby Hunt.
Well, look what happened to him.
Hair fell out.
Yeah.
How come you don't use Emron no more, Wendy?
It can kill you.
You die when you use it.
Very, very heavy.
When you're wearing that surplus radiation suit, you know.
I painted this thing that wouldn't get off the ground. It was so heavy.
That attacks your lungs, don't it?
Oh, yeah.
Anytime you put a catalyst in there and you breathe it without a respirator or the wrong respirator, it coats the inside of your lungs like you would breathe a balloon, and the oxygen doesn't get in there, and you die. That's simple.
Yeah.
You die on one job.
You die.
Well, we use U.S. paint.
That's my field marshal.
He used to be in a prison at Huntsville.
Field marshal, that's why
When he's describing
And we pull test you and you fail, you die.
urethane paint without a respirator because it goes in and coats your lungs. Whereas
then
lacquer
it
would dissipate, the
catalyzes.
lead would dissipate out of your system after a while.
Mhm.
Well, this goes in and eventually makes your lungs to where they don't work like they're supposed to. Goes in and affects your nerves, cause brain damage, let alone respiratory.
I think I'll use Brodak dope.
Okay, give me 10
Mm.
It goes away.
People don't know it. Even it goes through your eyeballs.
Oh, that's
when you're in your painting. It go any part, your hands, your eyeballs. Wendy uses gloves all the
Sphincter.
time.
Yeah.
You speak.
She just doesn't want to leave any fingerprints in case the FBI check them.
What happens if you wear with glasses? Go through the glasses too?
Well, if they're glass, no problem. If they're plastic, use acetone.
Yeah. Like a real cheap
Don't ever do a
race.
paint job again. Bob, get me out of here, will you?
The man from space.
It wasn't funny because
We'll go do candy apple now, right, Bob?
they said I had a reservation.
Yeah. They absorbed it.
That's one coat.
Yeah. What kind of coat is
That's
this?
a windy coat.
A windy coat.
You know, you just ruled that way. That's good.
But we'll have a long time to work on that.
Idea. 3 different colors you can achieve with one
Isn't that lovely?
What's the one? That is nice.
candy blue.
Candy
Over
blue, 3
bases.
different colors.
And they all have reflective qualities, so on the sunlight they'll change drastically.
What?
Wasn't that
They'd
just
reflect.
gold?
And,
Yeah, you put the
You see that,
candy,
George?
with the candy
3 colors with the one.
like
what's he talking about?
He went over
Wasn't
the
that
black,
just
the
gold?
green, and blue. Or gold, I guess he went over that.
It's the same paint over different.
Sleepy, that, you know when you were looking in the window at that Imran, you were breathing it too, I think.
I might be dumb, but I ain't stupid.
That's because you didn't inhale.
Wendy,
What do you think, Dave?
opinion on that?
That's pretty nice, isn't it? Wendy, look.
Yeah, it looks dynamite.
Yeah.
Let's get it so you can see
Dynamite.
the,
So you get
the
light.
shine, yeah. Dynamite.
Like a roadkill
Yeah.
Easter egg.
Applause. Applause.